Training Colonel. I've got an unboxing for you today, but it's not exactly a new knife. I'm re-unboxing, essentially, my ZT-0801. Now, I don't remember if I had posted anything about it beforehand, but if I didn't, then it was because I just didn't want to post anything about it until the matter was actually resolved. Sorry, my throat is kind of stuffy right now. But if I did, it was just saying it in passing, because I honestly didn't want to say anything about it until the thing was actually taken care of. Now, I'll get out of the way what was actually going on. About 3 months into actually owning my 0801, there was massive problems with the detent. I could just shake it out lightly, and the blade would just fall out of place. And anybody who's handled an 0801 knows that is not how it should be behaving. So that was a pretty substantial problem. So I sent it into ZT and asked if they could replace the lock bar insert, so I was thinking maybe it was just a problem with the detent. And they replaced the detent, but came back with the same problems. But not only that, but it came back with vertical blade play. So I called up ZT and I was like, hey, what the heck is going on here? This problem is not fixed. Not only has it not been fixed, but it also has vertical blade play. It came back with another problem that it didn't have before. What's going on here? You guys are my favorite company, but you're slipping badly. And so they immediately they immediately sent out a shipping label, so that way through my email, so that way I didn't have to pay anything to get the knife shipped, and they sent it through UPS, which is pretty reliable, and so that way I could get the knife back to them, and they could take care of it. And I just got it back today. They actually sprang for 2-day shipping. So got the knife here, and to open it, I will use my new Browse Blades Dustin Turpin collaboration Strife. Now let's get this thing open. Tape doesn't want to come off. There we go. Review will probably be coming on this thing next. Yeah, I just want to get the testing done with this. I've actually stopped testing a few other knives because I want to do this one first, because this is so amazing. Get the crap out of the way. Just got some papers here, making sure there's nothing other than the stuff that I sent in with them. Okay, and the knife is here. I sent it in the bubble wrapping. Looks like they didn't replace it, so they must have been able to fix it. Okay. Okay, it's still not quite as amazing as I remember it, but the detent is definitely stronger. But yeah, it's still not quite as amazing as I remember it being. It might just be due to the fact that it feels really hot, so maybe things have expanded, but they definitely fixed things in here, but like I said, still not amazing. Let me tighten up the pivot real quick. Okay, I've got the knife cooled down a bit. Stuck it in the freezer for just for about a minute or two. So it's now at room temperature, and that actually did quite a bit, surprisingly enough. Didn't actually expect to do that much, but yeah, the detent seemed to tighten up a little bit after it cooled down. So I guess maybe the hole expanded a little bit, and the detent hole just expanded a little bit. So after cooling it down, they must have shrunk up. It's a little bit faster. I also tightened up the pivot screw because it had a little bit of horizontal blade play. Let me dial that back in because it still got just a little bit. It was actually very prone to going undone beforehand, so gotta redo that detent mod. Well, detent mod, that pivot mod that I found with, I think his name was the Apostle on YouTube. Basically, gotta super glue the female end of the pivot down, and then put some Teflon tape on this part, and so that'll probably take care of that all over again. But yeah, the knife is no longer coming open with inertia. Before, I could literally just do a bit of a wrist flick down, and it would severely come undone. Like, just doing this, I could actually completely open the knife and send it to complete lock. Now, another problem I was having was that I could tap the lock bar and I could feel it vibrating because the lock bar was not coming into contact with the blade tang. That's no longer happening. It does look like this is sitting at pretty much 100% lockup, but I don't mind that. I consider that to be a stronger lock interface. Let's see. No, there's no kind of lock slip at all. It's staying in place. And now I don't spine whack these things at all, because personally I feel like that's beyond the abuse that a knife would ever see if you're using it properly. I mean, the most that a knife would ever come into contact with lock slip is if you're trying to do any kind of lateral prying like that, and just trying to dig something up. But even then, it's still not going on the spine. There's really no justifiable reason why you would need to spine whack a knife at all. I mean, say that you're even trying to baton with your ZT. That's beyond the scope of what a folder is for. The only folder that I can possibly see you would ever be able to baton with would be a cold steel with a triad lock. Reason being, those are the strongest locking mechanisms in the world. I would actually put those easily up to fixed blades in strength. I have seen those things being batoned with, and they handled it expertly. So, plus the abuse tests that customers have actually put those things through, again, I would easily put it in the realm of fixed blades. Those things are tanks. But yeah, so this I don't plan on spine whacking it. Basically, if I can't move the lock bar even a little bit with hand strength, then there's absolutely no good reason for me to say that the locking mechanism is bad. Because if you're stabbing with it, most likely you're not going to be stabbing anything too terribly hard, so therefore you wouldn't really need to do anything like that. If you're stabbing with it full force, it's probably due to the simple fact that you are stabbing another person, at which point the person's body is probably going to stop the blade from closing on you. But yeah, overall, the knife is still exhibiting the same problems that I was feeling before, of the pivot coming dangerously loose. But that issue I know how to fix. The massive problems was the detent, which is fixed. And seeing as the pivot's been moving all over the place, and I'm not experiencing any vertical blade play, then I can definitely say that problem has also been fixed. So, good job, ZT. You fixed the knife. It still doesn't have the amazing detent that I remember, but then again, I've been spoiled with detents like this, which has an amazing, perfect, absolutely perfect detent. And also my Riati Horizon B, for crying out loud, even the CRKT Ripple and Swindle. Basically, all four of those knives had amazing detents, the likes of which I had never experienced before, and they all came after this one turned to crap. So maybe I'm remembering it better than it was, because this was the first really amazing detent that I ever had, besides the CRKT M16, which that still had a harder detent, which, looking back now, it's not even as hard as the other ones that I just mentioned. So maybe I'm just remembering it better than it was, because it was the first absolutely amazing action knife that I owned. So yeah, overall, the knife is definitely fixed. Good on ZT for finally getting that done. The first time they did exactly what I told them to do, so I can't really say that that they didn't actually fix the problem, because I said it in basically in this warranty sheet. Replace the lock bar because the detent is weak, and so they replaced the lock bar. Now, their fault came into play when it came back with vertical blade play, but then again, as far as the detent goes, I can't fault them for that, because I told them to replace the lock bar. So they replaced the lock bar. Now that I specifically told them the initial problem that I sent it in for, the detent was not fixed, and it got sent back to me with blade play, they made sure to actually have it sent through their PR department, and basically every department that could possibly handle this knife, and make sure, okay, so this thing is functioning perfectly. This is just like what an 0801 should be. They made sure to send it through all those channels, make sure that the knife is running perfectly again. And yeah, this thing, you can't shake it out no matter what I do. Cannot inertia open this thing. The knife is functioning again, so I'll leave it at that. I'll make sure to get this thing refixed in the pivot, so that way I can actually use this thing again for more than 3 opens, because it's already rubbing again, and you guys saw the last time that I tightened it up, and it's needing to be substantially tightened every single time. So yeah, definitely got to fix that, but I'll leave you guys at that. As always, stay safe.